Welcome to Midland County, a beautiful October morning here at Midland County. What we're going to be doing today is providing some Sash training and a good training program and where elders and chief elders can take this back to their county and work with their players in improving them for Sash play. With Sash play, there's a lot of other things that come into that are a little bit different from our normal play. We maybe contact a bit harder, maybe we do some throws, some punches, some real high level added role play. But with that also comes a safety aspect of it too. That if we're not making the proper read with our opponent, maintaining eye contact at all time, yeah, sometimes things can go wrong. But through a process like this, a rigorous process where you train your players, have ongoing training, get them up to speed and comfortable with the Sash process, hopefully we can avoid those kind of accidents out in the field. But when we're talking about out in the field, the other things we got to also worry about are if we're playing in a public area and we're having a battle, we're fighting each other, I go down, where am I going down to? Is that on a rock? Take that visual glance before you go down. Also be in a public area, maybe it would be a broken bottle or something. We do a lot of park cleanups out here, but still you got to be careful as any kind of a Sash player or even as a regular player in the system before you go down on, make that ground contact. We're going to share a couple handouts that will be posted worldwide for all the LARP folks to see on LarpCraft, but we also have the handout here. And kind of going through it, the Midland Outpost has developed a consistent set of criteria for our players to train and become approved Sash players. The process will be utilized by the chief elders and elders to provide, again, a rigorous approval process and ongoing training for their players. When we first created this a year ago, our process was we weren't just going to have somebody go through a 2-3 minute thing and then call them a Sash player. We wanted them to do repetitive sessions, maybe throughout a couple-week period, half-hour long, so they also retain and practice more and make the true commitment to being a Sash player. We'll walk you through a lot of those steps today and what we do. We're going to do hands-on exercises. We'll have a chance to practice and ask a lot of questions as we go too. One thing to keep in mind, the process here is what we utilize at Midland, but it may not work perfect for your area. Maybe you want to go back and tweak a few things. When we talk to some of our other LARP friends and elders, Ufnar, he's very good at practicing throws and body throws and things like that. That's something we don't have in our process, but if you work through that and develop it, tweak it to make it fit and be unique for your area. The other thing with the Sash training too, even though you go through a program like this, it doesn't guarantee that you're always going to be a Sash player. It's truly up to the colony to approve that person, make sure that that person's up to par. If all of a sudden we have a violation where somebody's just being very excessive, over-aggressive, just out of control, you may make a decision to revoke or put a temporary hold on that Sash process for them. And the most important thing is to take that and communicate it to the other elders within regions and local games, because we have a lot of the folks going to the same area too. So good communication up front definitely helps all of us. Before we get into any of the exercises, we want to refer back to the rule book. There is in chapter 2 a good section about the Sash process. We have handouts here and we'll also have them posted up for everybody to review on LarpCraft too. But we'll go ahead and give you a few minutes to take time and read through and get familiar with that chapter. One of the other things, and I'll raise my hand on this, when Gorg and I first developed this process, we're practicing and stuff, and we're sitting there practicing some of the punches, outlining stuff, and all of a sudden he goes, stop, right, Gorg? You know what ain't gonna do any good when you're punching me and I got plate armor on? Yeah, I didn't think about that through that. When we think about the role-playing aspect of things, it's got to make sense what we're doing. And if I'm sitting here punching a guy with heavy plate armor and stuff like that on, I'm actually the one that's going to have a hurt hand. It ain't going to do anything to him. A couple other the little tweak things that I was doing wrong too is when I was punching, a lot of times I was going, ugh, and here I'm making the noise where it should be the other person. Just some bad habits that you can pick up on, and through practice and different stuff like that, you can work out those things. what we basically had set up in our process, it's about a 5-step process where we first do an hour-long session with a person wanting to become a Sashed player. And we go over the rule book, we talk about the safety aspect, and then it's kind of a building block approach, starting with some really easy kind of things, getting to know that person that you're working with, reading their moves back and forth. And then after that hour, we stop at that point. We don't want it all to complete in one day. Then we meet up again a couple days later or a week later, do another half-hour segment. You recap on what you learned the first time around, start adding in a few more things. Again, it's that building block approach. And eventually, after 4 or 5 sessions, you start adding in all those little things. Again, the handout is just a baseline approach to what you can do in your colonies. After that, be creative. You can come up with so many more moves, so many more things to work out and create different, exciting role play kind of things. Something that we really noticed, like Gorg and I, it's easy for us on a night at home. Hey, you want to go outside and practice for 20 minutes, Sash? Easy. But all of a sudden, if we take a 2-week break from it, we already realize we start getting rusty in our own things that we've rehearsed and that we've done together. We're very comfortable with what each other's doing. But now if I have a Sash fight with Scud, that's going to be a totally different thing because maybe we haven't practiced together. A lot of times at events, you can maybe work with somebody ahead of time and practice with them. Or if you're on an NPC crew, you can already plan that into what you're doing and then practice that a little bit and rehearse that a little bit before you get out in the field. You'll find out through what we're doing today, it's going to vary all the time who you're working with. For today, because it is a learning exercise, we're going to keep you paired up with the same person so you start building up that confidence of working with that person and becoming familiar with each other's moves. At the end of it, you guys are actually going to have a project. You're going to work with that same person, put together about a little 5-10 minute little Sash fight deal. You work out what you want to do, and you're going to present it back to everybody here. And also all our viewers that will be across the world watching this, they'll have the opportunity to see what we're working on and what we're putting together. One of the things that we're going to start doing right away now is do just a little bit of a warm-up. With anything in life, if we're 18, our bodies are different. When we're 30, our bodies change. When we're 50, they change even more. And one of the things we definitely want to do is do a little bit of a warm-up. Everybody has their own kind of process on that. A little bit of walking in place, stretching out, whatever your deal is to start warming up. Go ahead and take a little bit of time, get the muscles loosened up. We definitely don't want any injuries involved in any of the process. Keep in mind as we're doing this, role play, when we actually get to some of the actual exercises of the combat, or what we're doing, what we're proving folks on.
General walk down of some of the, we do stretching curriculums. You want to know what it is?
Sure.
Basically what we do is we start with some neck stretches. So you don't want to ever roll your neck backwards like this. You can pinch your nerve endings if you do it this way. So if you're telling people, just go, about halfway back or 3/4 of the way back. And when you're doing a lot of these punchings, you're doing those quick neck movements a lot of times to complete the action. So warming up stretching your neck is really important. Next up, if you spread out a little bit, put your arms out and start with rotations going forward. Start with a small circle and gradually get wider. And you'll start to feel that. And then on the other direction. And as elders, you can also see, if someone's applying for the training, doing these kind of stretching exercises, you can already start to visually gauge some of your folks that are trying to do this. If they have if they have shoulder injuries or something, this is where you'll see it right away. People aren't even asking them a lot of times. Next up, waist bends. Some of you are thinking, I don't know, did I sign up for this? And then leg stretches. Keep your foot flat on the ground and lean away from your foot. Always tell people to not bounce. Your muscles are like rubber bands. If you bounce on them, they can snap, especially if they're really tight. And then forward and back. If you're going forward, make sure that the back heel stays flat on the ground, as straight as possible, and just lean forward till you feel feel your calf stretch out. You can do calf and shin. You know, this exercise will do pretty much all of the muscles. If you lean against your opposite foot, you put more of your weight on the upper part of your leg. And then some slight knee bends. You can go down as comfortable as you are with going down. If you're in armor and that kind of thing, then the real tight exercises are a lot tougher. But those are just the general rule of thumb stretches that a lot of different sports use. Okay, I'm out of here.
Good deal. Okay, continue to reach up as high as you can. Now take your dominant arm and reach up as high as you can. The other arm. Back to your other arm. And I need a volunteer. LZ, your hand's up in the air. I see. Come on up here. Were you the one that took the coin from the village?
I don't know nothing.
You know more. You know more.
Mercy.
Role play, role play, role play. That falls into our Sash stuff too. Let me help you up. You ever trust a man with a dagger? Nope. Good deal. Yeah, definitely role play it out. That's what we're looking for today. Have fun with everything we're doing. We're going to start you at kind of what that first session would be. We've already gone over the rulebook stuff. We've already gone through kind of like the process of what we do here. What we're going to have you do now is pair up with somebody and stay with that person through all the exercises today so you start getting comfortable with each other's move. As we were saying, we're going to start out with some of those real basic things, and this is just going to be a basic punch and a block by the other person. After we demonstrate it, go ahead and pair up with somebody. Practice it about 5 times each. Okay, that was a quick motion, but when you first get started, kind of walk through until you get to know each other. And you'll walk through the process. There's going to be a punch and a block. Role play it out. Ah! Add the emotion to it. Go ahead, pair up with somebody, spread out. Make sure you got good amount of room between each other, and go ahead and practice the punch and the block. Okay, again, that was just a stepping stone. It's that building block approach. Borg, if you want to go ahead and get here. Now we're going to add just one more element of it. We're going to go punch, block, and oh! Punch, block, oh! Role play it out. The other thing to keep in mind, this guy's a tough orc. When he hits me, it's powerful. I'm going to take more of a blow on that and hurt from that. Oh! Go ahead and give it a try. Okay, first thing I want to tell everybody, great job already. I'm seeing a lot of the role play aspect of it. I'm seeing people talking to each other about who's going to punch or who's blocking, or a training aspect. That's great right away. One of the things that we saw with one group over here that was doing a great job of, LZ, you want to explain a little bit of your swing that you were doing according to how you had your hand positioned?
Sure. Well, the first couple of times that I did it, I was actually accidentally hitting him in the chest plate with my fist because it's hard to not do that. So then I kind of figured out I just need to direct the angle of it. So instead of coming straight in like I was really punching him, I was just kind of going across. And then it's just the back of my arm that's barely having any contact if I do accidentally lean in too far and hit him. If you do that, you have to be careful. You don't want to hit him with your elbow either.
Yep. One of the other things that we talked about a little bit as we were observing them, if you have a staged NPC Sash fight that you're putting on maybe for the tavern folks, but you're out here fighting, also think about the angles of how everybody is seeing what you're doing. If I have Gorg over on this side here, and I'm making a swing this way, it looks more real than if I was over here and they see me come like this and almost miss them. So it's one of those things that play the angles to your advantage. When you're out in the field, Sash fight, it just happens spur of the moment. Can't always do it that way. Okay, we're gonna progress into the next section then. That's gonna be a little bit about knives and stuff. A lot of great stuff comes with the Sash playing, utilizing knives. One of the things you could do is come in for a stab, somebody blocks. If they had another blade, they could cut you, or they could actually grab. Play it down like this, role play it, and he cuts. Those are the kind of things, yeah, that's a baseline kind of stab. But as you're working with somebody, develop kind of your own little tweak to it. How are you gonna force that knife? Maybe we get locked up like this and I'm just about at his head like this and all of a sudden he gets me off to the side like that. Role play it out. We got some little sample knives here, or bopper knives.
If you don't have a knife, you can use an axe.
Yep.
No, I got a whole sword.
Get it? Before you stab it.
Try to do it. Yeah. Try to do it. So I'm coming.
So I'm gonna block.
You're gonna block it like this. Try to move like try, just do this movement like this. Here. You put your hand here to deflect.
Okay, I grab it. Gotcha. And
You
then I
put your
push it
hand
down.
here to control the hand.
Right.
And you attack. And then you're supposed to do the same thing.
Okay. Let me see if I can. And I grab it. This arm. Okay. One there.
I can't move my hand.
Right, and then I shoot back. Okay. So let's do it slower again.
Okay, you first.
Yeah, go on. Oh, no. This one. Looks like
Here. Deflect it.
Mary Bobbin.
No. You got it all wrong. Don't worry. Let's do it again. I'm attacking.
My pixie does.
I'm like never nowhere.
Deflect it. Put that.
Curse.
You can't move. You attack. There you go.
Got it, sort of. I mean, let's go slow a couple more times.
Because I told him this red what direction
Never
he's going.
There you go. Boom.
No, the same one.
Oh, no, there you go. Control my hand, and I go back and try to do the same thing. The thing is, they have to have the flow on it.
Right,
Okay?
the flow is gonna, yeah, it can't.
Because when you
gotta be quick.
achieve that, it
gotta be
looks
quick.
really, really cool.
It's gotta be quick. Yeah, I know.
That's fine.
So here, why don't I get in my
If I'm Sash.
I'm going slow. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. You just grab it, then deflect it, hold it,
It's like,
hold it, yep, attack,
and then you do it again.
kill it.
That's wrong.
there you go.
Kill it with fire. They've already progressed on their own tests. I got 4 of them. But I'm letting them go with it.
Well, you said make it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, let's go ahead and bring her in a little bit again. Cool, that's cool, man. I like it. I like it. All right. Because of what we were seeing already that you guys are doing really good. So we kind of let you just kind of go a little bit further. You've already covered about 2-3 other things that we were going to get to. But I have the confidence that you're doing really good by what we've been seeing. Really good stuff going on. Good communication, good discussions, good role playing, awesome stuff. Okay, now we're going to progress into a little bit different stuff about kicks and stuff like that. Gorg and I are just in this position, and maybe I just like kick him in the back of the thigh, the knee or whatever. As I'm doing that, my foot is coming right like that, just barely even touching him.
I have a question. If I don't feel comfortable with those blows, because for example, I have already 2 surgeries on my knee, and I would not like to get it exposed at all. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So what do? I call the person out and say, hey, do not.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that we always want to think about, the safety aspect of things most importantly. So, you know, if somebody has a knee injury and they don't want to do a particular move or whatever, try to have that quick little, you know, we're in here sashing or whatever. You know, you can whisper it like that to the person right away, and the rest of the folks around you aren't going to hear that. Or Sash players up front, maybe in a early morning meeting when you have everybody registered or whatever, some of the Sash players that are wearing their sashes. Carlos has a great example of a sash right here that once you're trained up right away, Sash players are required to wear that. But if you see the other Sash players around, have that discussion also in the morning. Same comes into play if somebody maybe is experiencing some back issues or whatever. On that given day, you may want to make that personal choice that, I'm not going to Sash today, or I'm not going to be involved in any kind of throws or anything like that.
Would you then remove your Sash for the day, or just?
I would
make
remove
it
my
known?
Sash for the day. If I'm not going to participate or feel that I'm at risk to a personal medical condition, yeah, I'd take my Sash off, and then nobody else is going to be able to fight you in that manner. The one important thing to also talk about with Sash fighting too is, yes, you have to have your Sash on to be involved in Sash, but if we have a big group battle going on here, and there's all kinds of other players here, and they're not Sash players, we shouldn't be Sash fighting in the middle of all of them. We need to make sure that we're kind of in a separate area or whatever, because if we're going about it full blow and kind of doing stuff, and then somebody comes up behind, ready to get in on that battle, they might not see that swing coming or even know what's going on. So definitely be aware of your surroundings. Don't do it in that group environment kind of thing.
You can adjust real quick too on that. So if I'm coming in, let's say Gregor has his Sash on, he's coming at me, literally I can do it that fast. He will just have to adjust that fast. If there's somebody that you don't feel comfortable doing it with, just take your Sash off.
Yep.
That's
He will have
the
to throw
visual.
his sword.
But getting back to the kick thing, that's kind of what we're going to work on here. You can kick to the thigh, something like that. Kind of you can bring a knee there. But again, go slow while you're doing this until you get to know your person, and don't go overboard, because you have a lot of different areas that you don't want to hit. So kind of go slow and be careful with it. That fight, kind of going, and I'm kind of down like this. I'm getting up, and Gord, like 3 punches to the gut. We want to see that. So go ahead and team up. And Carlos,
I have a
question?
question. Those fist blows counts as hit points or not?
I honestly don't know in a Sash fight. We're talking blade fights. I don't think they would in that.
I think
No,
you just
that's-
wing it, sort of.
Yeah.
See,
If you want to really kill somebody, you have to do a blade combat.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, if you role played it out, like
Choking
pummel the crap out of my face. I mean, after about 5 or 6 of those, I'm going to be knocked out on the ground.
Yeah.
That's the role play.
And then you keep going, then he's dead.
Yep.
Yeah, you could.
Drive off
Yeah,
the role play. Yep. Definitely another thing that LZ brought up earlier when we were talking about the knife stuff. If I'm coming in like that, just grab like that, there is a slight chance of injury with that. If you're getting your thumb bent back, if it's something that you haven't rehearsed with that particular person a lot, you can easily sprain your thumb on that. So with that, it might be better to just go with a block kind of thing and then through a punch or something else. But again, as you do this stuff, you're gonna start finding out those things that, hey, that don't work well for me. Borg and I, through practice, we've tried things, all of a sudden it's like, nah, that just ain't working. I heard one group working today that, the kicks, they didn't prefer the kick. A lot of that stuff, yeah, you'll find out that maybe it doesn't work for you or work for you, the environment that your game locations are at too. So very good points that you guys have made while we're doing this training. So go ahead and team up with somebody. One guy's gonna be kind of punched over, the other person's gonna be delivering 3 punches to the gut. Yeah, we kind of did. I'm sorry. Let me just check.
Yours just has to be like,
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna try to very and you're gonna start punching.
Where's my money? Get your freaking money.
You drank the last of my meat!
He's gonna knife!
I think what you can also do is like
Nice. Play the song.
That hurts. Want to stop? No. Okay. I'm thinking. He's still up. I cannot believe it.
I know, I got stabbed.
Okay. I'm gonna come.
I'll stab you like block and stab.
Angled to the camera. I'm already going to be down like this, wounded from the fight. He's going to be kneeing me in the gut. My eyes are already looking down that direction to see where his knee is. And as a safety measure, I already got my hand here blocking my face. As we go through this, we'll demonstrate it once, slow, like that. And then we'll crank it up a notch. From a view to people in the village or out in the realm, they're not going to see already that my hand's there ready to block or that my eyes are looking down that way. But it's a good safety feature with that particular one. Again, you're wounded from a fight, you're getting up, he comes in like that. My hand's there ready to block and my eyes are watching right away where that knee's coming from. Do this one really slow at first and then work with each other till you feel comfortable and role play it out. Practicing our moves of the knee and that. He come in to block. I kind of jumped and at one point I came up like this and actually my head contacted him in the side of the cheek and eye. With Sash stuff, yeah, stuff can go wrong. And if you want to come up here and kind of take a little look, yeah, definitely caught him pretty good with my back of my head up into his cheekbone area. Again, those are the things if you slightly deviate off of practicing or maybe you're not comfortable with that particular person, yeah, things can go wrong in the Sash fighting. Scud, you want to come on up here?
joy. Should I bend over now or after?
Actually, what we're going to talk about now is a few of the things that you can actually practice at home on your own. It's going to sound odd. How do you practice Sash fighting on your own? Actually, you can. Take a hit to the gut. I'm not even punching you, just act it out. Absolutely. Now you're taking one to the knee. You can practice this stuff at home.
I'm not that good.
Go ahead and get on your knees.
Oh really? Never mind.
Okay, go ahead and put your hands down like you're getting kicked in the gut and you're gonna roll to the side. A hard kick to the gut. Now somebody stomps on you in the gut. You get up. Somebody punches you. A lot of that stuff you can practice on your own and that starts building again on that role play stuff. Keep in practice. Keep.
That's how there's.
Where's my money? Where? I don't.
That's pretty much how I would act out.
Come on. No, right to the. Get out of me! We started incorporating a little bit more with shield work, just kind of pinned up, kind of pushing in that. Again, you're common players, regular players, you don't want doing this stuff. But when you practice and get to a Sash level, not that it's a higher skill or that you're any better, but it allows you to do a couple of those things that are involved. And then, you work it out amongst yourselves, instead of who's pushing, who's the aggressor. Talk about that a little bit ahead of time before you practice it. One of the things you'll notice a lot when Gorg and I are practicing, I'm usually the guy going down. I'm a lot better at dying. He's a heck of a lot better at being the aggressor, but you kind of learn that stuff with your training partner. And you can kind of work through some exercises like that. Again, talk about what you're going to do ahead of time, plan it out, and go ahead and practice a few things with some shield stuff. You just threw that thing well when you got hit one time. How can it go went flying?
Okay.
What?
Vikings.
How about like this?
My sword.
Just thinking the whole shield.
Okay, let's everybody come down here. We'll have a couple discussion points here. Seeing that we got our shields and weapons, we're going to continue with a couple weapon kind of things. I apologize, I didn't get this one typed into the outline, but we just want to show a couple other things. Gorg, he's going to be the aggressor in this situation. He's going to end up making a swing at me, and I block, and we're like locked up and click, like that. And I'm ramming the back of my sword in his gut.
Can you do this again, please?
Yep.
Let's do it a little.
Yep. Oh, I kind of turn it down, right like that. And as I'm doing that, I'm just barely getting to that point where it's slightly touching him, or I can even put the hand on like this and make it like that, so that way he's not getting that tip in there. You can do it the other way too. When you get to this point, you got to be a little bit more careful where we come like this, turn it, and run them through like that. But again, then you're using a weapon in a thrusting motion, and you got to work with your partner, make sure arms open, make sure we're not actually getting in the gut area. We'll play it out. There's another one that we kind of worked a little bit on. This one's very situational. A little bit. This one's very situational in kind of a fight that him and I developed, but it just shows the different things that you can add in. Where we're coming in and he's getting ready to swing real hard, and it's like, he comes down like this, pushes down. He's pushing down on my neck, and he gets to a point where that blade's touching me. He just makes a quick, clean cut across my neck. One of the things that we did learn with that, the very first time that we did it, his sword was actually contacting my neck when he went and made the big pull mark. I got a burn all the way across my neck that hurt for about 3-4 days from it. So again, those are the things you think about safety, get in those positions. You're down like that, touch it onto the t-shirt. Make sure it's in a safe area. Be aware of your surroundings, have fun with it, and practice a couple of these things. Try it through the arm. Yeah, let's try it through the arm. Okay? So let's try, so leave that space. Oh, stop whining. Stop whining. Sorry.
I'm good.
Oh, this is pretty beautiful. This one, yeah.
Yeah, it's
beautiful. It's good. It's good. I like that shoulder.
feels much better than I think. More, man.
That's cool. You can make that look real for the people around you. Go ahead and do that again, Gord. He's in there like that, fighting, and then I might even try to get up to my feet. And he's got me back down. Again, role play it out. You're being choked out. You're losing your breath, your oxygen. You're getting weaker and weaker. But the person doing it, just get in a stable position, lock the arm, and you're not actually pulling back or wrenching. You're just simulating that particular hold. So we'll go ahead and practice some of our choke holds on each other. An outfit and getting something that stains on there. And the same aspect is if you are going to utilize that maybe with your NPCs or you as a player, make sure you talk to the other person to say, hey, is that okay if I do that? And also have some of the other elders understand up front, hey, we are going to involve the stage blood into it. So that way people aren't thinking that, you know, we got folks that are actually hurt during the process. So again, it's just one of those good discussion points. Carlos, a question?
I actually encountered that back in the island. We were using fake blood for the zombies, and a lady stopped by to check what was going on because she was actually a nurse. So she was really concerned. She was about to call 911 and everything. So we stopped what we were doing to explain her that that was fake blood.
Yep, excellent point. Because I mean, sometimes we have people walking through our areas that we do our LARP events, and they may not know everything that's going on. So definitely a good thing to do. One of the other things, Borg and I are kind of going to show another little quick choke thing, and then we'll take a water break again. You know, if him and I are in a skirmish kind of thing, and I'm getting ready to choke him, I've already positioned my hand in a manner that's the correct spacing, and it's not going to hurt him. And we could be pushing each other up, and all of a sudden I got him right up against a tree or something like that. Again, you're going to want to be careful where you're doing this kind of stuff. You're going to want to already have that preset spacing. Don't want to be jabbing people in the throat. Those are all the little game enhancers that as you do this more and more that you can put in. There's another one that Gorg and I have kind of worked together on, and we'll demonstrate that. It's just, again, going to another level on things. And he kind of swings like this.
I like it.
We practice it in the yard. We practice it over and over. You don't want to just take those chances right away with something new. Go ahead and practice up a couple things, and then right away we'll cut and we'll take another water break. Get full roleplay where we kind of through like that, and then different ways to keep down. I can put my foot up and pull it out, or different things like that. Some of the things to remember about that is making sure you do kind of have a little bit of an opening when you do that. If we're okay for permission to touch, we can position. That one actually snagged up on Garb.
Yep. But I think, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I thought when you are a Sash player, you don't have to turn.
Correct. You're committing to that, hey, it's okay to do that. Yep. As I did that one, I actually snagged up on some of Scud's Garb here. That happens with some of the run-through. On Gorg's sword here, him and I, when we're practicing, a lot of times the point doesn't glide through quite as much as maybe what some of the other rounded tips do. Keep in mind that could damage your sword if you're trying to do that to somebody. If you hit them straight in the gut, it may hurt a little bit more. Some of the edge has started to wear a little bit, so that creates a little bit of a rough point. Doesn't slide on the Garb quite as much. We'll have you practice that a little bit, doing some of the light jabbing, stabbing, running somebody through with your sword. After that, go ahead and take time and work with the person that you were practicing with throughout the day. Come together with a little skit kind of thing with all the things that we worked on, and we'll actually have you present that back to the group. Ready?
Okay. Should we practice that and start sketching up, or just practice it?
Practice the jabbing and some of that first, and then right after that you could get into your practice scenarios.
Thank you!
Oh, come.
Good. Feels awful.
I heard Scud and his group talking about that, and then they tweaked it a little bit, found something to work really good for the role play aspect. As your colony elders and leaders, and for the folks that watch us throughout the world that are part of LarpCraft, that's exactly what we should be doing. Analyzing, looking, always trying to find the better ways to do things. So we're going to give you a few minutes here to rest up and then put together your little demonstration of what you're going to present back to the rest of us.
Sergeant! Sleeping? I don't think so. Get up.
Take me! Something you can take back to your communities, work with all the people in your colony. Keep in mind it's a growing process. You want to keep practicing all the time. It's an adaptive thing. You may have to make some tweaks to make it fit unique to your location. We want to take this and share it with all the folks around LarpCraft, around the world. It was a way that we could get everybody together to see the same kind of things that we're doing here at Midland, and hopefully